Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take a whole stack of specialized knowledge and really just trying to distill the most critical takeaways for you. Today we are tackling something. I mean, it's maybe the most emotionally charged, stressful, and just universal part of early parenthood. We're talking about the baby's cry. We're pulling from a number of sources, but especially one called The Art of Soothing Your Baby's Cry.
Yeah,
And it hits you with the tough truth right away.
it does.
The sound of a baby crying is basically designed to be an emotional activator. If you've been there, you know it.
Yeah.
It instantly triggers worry or frustration, sometimes even this profound guilt.
Right, like you're failing.
Exactly, like you're failing to solve some urgent problem right now.
And that feeling isn't just normal, it's biological.
Yeah.
But, and this is the key, that feeling is exactly what we have to reframe.
Okay.
Our whole mission today is to radically shift that perspective. We need to stop seeing the cry as an emergency or, a reflection of your parenting.
And see it as what?
As communication, as expression. And this is the big one, as pure emotional release. It is, quite simply, their first language.
That reframing really is the key, isn't it? Because when you change that lens, your whole response changes with it.
Completely.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start with the fundamental reasons babies cry and maybe go beyond just the obvious physical stuff.
Right. So the checklist everyone knows includes the basics: hunger, overtiredness, a wet diaper, discomfort from gas or being too hot or cold.
The transactional things.
Exactly, the transactional things. They're alerts, and they're designed to be answered pretty quickly.
But the sources we looked at spend a lot of time on the less obvious reasons, the emotional ones. And these require a totally different kind of response, not just a fix. So what stands out there?
Well, what's fascinating is how often crying is about emotional overload. They just can't filter all the sensory input coming at them.
So like overstimulation from a busy room?
That's a perfect example. Or even the intense frustration of their own bodies. They want to grab that toy, but their hand just won't cooperate. That's a huge feeling for them.
I never really thought of that.
But the most powerful insight, I think, that we found is this idea of emotional processing.
Okay.
Think of a baby's day, like a computer with way too many tabs open. A trip to the store, a loud siren goes by, they meet a new person. They don't have a way to close those tabs.
They just collect all that stimulation?
They collect it. And they need a release valve. The sources describe this kind of crying not as distress about an immediate problem, but as a physiological release of all that stored up tension.
So the tears, the sounds, that's the mechanism for clearing the slate.
Yes, it's their body's natural way of detoxing from the day.
That completely reframes the whole interaction. It's not a demand, it's a process.
It's a process. And if you can grasp that, you stop fighting the emotion and you start supporting the person having the emotion.
Which leads directly to that big paradox, the one that stresses out every new parent.
The big one.
That feeling that you have to stop the crying immediately, but when you have this other voice, this societal fear that if you hold them too much, you're going to
spoil them
or teach them to be manipulative.
That fear is so deeply ingrained, but the sources are really, really clear on this. You cannot spoil a baby by responding to their cry.
So what does a loving response actually look like then, if it's not about instant silence?
It's defined by consistency, not by speed. A loving response is about staying close through the emotion rather than just frantically trying to distract them or shush them out of what they're feeling.
Hang with them in it.
Yes, because they are not testing you, they're not trying to exploit you, they're asking a very simple, profound question.
Which is,
am I safe here? And by consistently being present, even when they're wailing, you are teaching them that their biggest, hardest emotions can be held with warmth.
That's not spoiling.
That is the very definition of secure attachment. It's the foundation of everything.
Okay, that makes perfect sense philosophically. But let's get into something more concrete. What is actually happening in their body and their biology when we hold them through that storm? I think this gets to the idea of co-regulation.
Co-regulation is everything here. It's the mechanism. It just means that the parent's body helps the baby's body regulate its own state.
Right.
So physiologically, when a baby is crying hard, their nervous system is in full emergency mode. You've got a high heart rate, cortisol is spiking, their muscles are tense.
Fight or flight.
Total fight or flight. And they don't have the internal wiring yet to calm that system down on their own. They are completely dependent on an external guide.
And we, the parent, are that guide. But how does that work? Is it just, The comfort of being held, or is there a real biological exchange going on?
Oh, it's a real biological exchange. It's beautiful, actually. We are essentially offering them a biological tuning fork.
A tuning fork. I like that.
When that baby is held close, chest to chest especially, their body registers the steady, predictable pattern of your body. Your deep, rhythmic breathing, your steady heartbeat. It creates this gentle, predictable pressure wave.
So it's an actual physical vibration they're feeling.
Exactly. And that sensory input, the warmth, the sound of your heart, the rhythm of your breath, it stimulates their vagus nerve.
Which is the superhighway to the calm down system.
The parasympathetic nervous system, yeah. The
Uh-huh.
rest and digest system. You are non-verbally modeling a state of calm, and their biology is literally designed to mirror it.
So the goal isn't really to get immediate quiet.
No.
The goal is to change the quality of the experience for them. So even if they're still crying, they're no longer alone in it.
That is the essential distinction. Your calm presence sends these explicit signals of safety through their entire system. The crying might continue for another minute, but they are processing that emotion with you, and that makes all the difference. They're learning that intense feelings are survivable when they have an anchor.
Okay, knowing that the goal is bearability, not silence, makes this so much clearer. Let's transition to the practical toolkit. What are the actual actionable methods for this?
Right. So we've established the parent needs to be the calm blueprint. But that's hard when a baby is screaming because your own system goes into high alert.
Of course.
So the sources say to start with yourself. Before you do anything else, slow your own system down.
Oh.
Just intentionally slow your breath. A really simple way is to make your exhale longer than your inhale. It's a very basic meditative breath. It sends an immediate signal to your own body to step back from high alert.
Okay, so once you've managed your own state, the first action is physical closeness. Hold them. Why is that skin-to-skin or chest-to-chest contact so important?
Because it's biological medicine. Close contact is the absolute fastest way to stabilize their vitals. That chest-to-chest pressure helps stabilize their breathing and actively reduces stress hormones like cortisol. It's like a reset button.
And what about sound? We all instinctively do that loud shushing thing, but the source says to speak softly.
Yeah, that frantic energy can sometimes add to the chaos. A warm, steady voice acts as an organizing force. It gives their overwhelmed senses a structure to latch onto. It doesn't need to be words, even just a quiet, steady hum works.
You're demonstrating regulation with sound.
You are, and the same goes for movement. It has to be gentle and rhythmic, not fast, frantic jiggling.
Right.
Just a slow sway from side to side, or a rhythmic walk. You're creating a predictable, safe physical rhythm to replace their internal emotional storm.
The source has also mentioned something I think is so important, that you don't always need to talk them out of it. The power of just silent validation.
Absolutely. You don't need a flood of words. They can't process them anyway. Your presence alone communicates, I see you, this is hard, and I am right here with you. That nonverbal message is incredibly powerful.
And the last piece of advice was to stay predictable.
Because predictability is the antidote to uncertainty. If you have a comforting routine, a specific song, a certain way you hold them, using those familiar steps helps their brain recognize a pattern of safety. It lowers the threat signal.
So when you put this all together, the goal isn't to make the emotion vanish.
That's an unrealistic goal. The goal is to use these tools to change the context, to make these huge, overwhelming feelings bearable enough for them to process and move through.
That distinction, bearable, not banished, that's a game changer. Okay, let's talk about a specific context that confuses so many parents. Crying right before sleep.
Yes, this is such a common pattern, and it worries parents. They think their baby is distressed by sleep itself. But a brief cry before falling asleep can actually be their way of shedding the last bits of stimulation from the day.
Clearing the slate before they can rest.
Exactly. But, and the sources stress this, context is everything. If the baby is put down alone to cry, that is distress. But if they're being held, feeling your calm presence, that's not distress, that's transition.
A transition.
One source described it as the last little wave before the calm shore. They settle, not because they've given up, but because they feel your warmth, your heartbeat, your breath, and that confirms for them that the world is safe. And that security is what allows them to surrender to sleep.
This has been so incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
To bring this all home, let's just recap the core message for everyone listening.
The central truth really is this. You are not alone in the uncertainty that crying brings, but you already have the solution. Your calm, regulated presence is enough. Your rhythm is medicine. Your love is the anchor.
So really, what this all means is that supporting your baby's cry. It's not about being perfect. It's not about silencing them. It's about connection. It's about co-regulation.
Yes.
And every single time you stay present, slow your own breath, and just hold your baby through one of these emotional waves, you are actively building their emotional foundation, a sense of safety and trust that it will follow them for their entire life.
It absolutely will. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with to extend this idea beyond just the crying. If crying is their communication for distress, what nonverbal signals are you getting when they're not crying? When they're just quietly observing the room or focused on a toy. How can applying that same principle of calm, predictable presence enhance your connection in those quiet, happy moments too?
That is a great question to ponder. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you'll come back for our next exploration.